Hey, namaste and peace, and welcome to Not Church, everyone. I didn't get a chance to say hi to folk this morning, so I will now. Scrolling back up to the top over here. Hey, Robert, Kristen, Ellen, welcome back. Mary, Jay, Sean, Freetness, Quiet Energy, Nancy, Beth, Quiet Energy, Michael, Tim, Jimmy. Hey, everybody, welcome. Welcome, everybody who's here visiting by video, not live. Welcome. Peace and namaste from Not Church. Hello, my friends. I'm Peter Panagore, a near death experiencer. Not Church is mysticism, vital energy work, also called chi and prana. And that's what I was doing outside before I came in here. I was on my mat, charging up my chi, bringing up my prana. It's about interior work and a 21st century rethinking of the whole of Christianity through the lens of near death experience, advanced study, and storytelling. No doctrine, no dogma, mystical, not theological Jesus on Sunday mornings. Other days we do other stuff. Lots of mystics in the history of the world. Luke 9:46 starts with a spiritual argument and ends with a talk on oneness, like you've never heard before here or anywhere, really. That's what I meant. Today's title: Achieve Spiritual Greatness. Mystical Jesus, least is greatest. If you are new here, let us know in the chat or in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe. We're up over 12,000 subscribers now. Now, first, a brief community meditation. We begin with meditation in order to charge up all of our prana together, to bring our chi into one place, to be in the now, to share this divine energy Jesus called the I am, all his I am statements. He's talking about what people call the Christ consciousness, what other people call the cosmic universal. There's a lot of names for it, the universal energy. But this universal energy abides and lives inside each of us. It can be expressed inside ourselves and outside ourselves. And when we practice our meditation together, we enhance our inner world because we're doing it in a group and everybody's in the now when we're doing it. So even if you're doing it recorded, it doesn't matter if you're here in present time because of timelessness. Now, we each have a flame inside our hearts, which we fan. Blow that flame, not that little tiny thing I blow in that it goes out, but something a little bit bigger than that. We fan this. Together, we're like logs. That's what you on the campfire. Get that thing going. Together, we're like logs added to a campfire. Our combined heat of our interior practice warms us from the inside out and from the outside in. It warms us all. So we begin with 3 ohms. We chant those aloud to root ourselves in our bodies. Inhale in belly, fill up the lungs, into the heart chakra. Om. And then for beginners after that, we quiet down and we use our centering prayer practice, our contemplative meditation practice. And you can begin, you beginners, if you're here for the first time, focus on your breath and a chant. And if you don't have a chant, pick a word. I use Jesus. But the basic thing is breathe into your nose, down to your belly, and back out your nose again. And whenever your mind wanders, just return to your prayer practice, your chant, your mantra. Or, if you're new here or you're old here, you can use any meditation you want. I use this because it works for me. It's all about entering into the quietude, into the silence. And if you are new, you could pick a prayer from your childhood or a word you love or some poem that centers your mind. Like I said, I use the name Jesus. It's my nod to my Orthodox background, my half unorthodox. Anyway, my student friends, you have been here for a while. Continue whatever practice we've been working on, either in Zoom or on Mondays or Tuesdays. Drive that breath into your palms, perhaps into your second or your root chakra, and then bring that breath up with the prana, with the chi right with it, right to maybe your third eye, or maybe to your heart chakra. However your practice is right now, do that. And because when we're all together, our souls magnify the energy with a capital E together, whether live or recorded, as I said, because timelessness is always now. It's always now in the energy field. Okay, so enough of that stuff. Let's begin. I'm settling in. My feet are on the floor. Hey, Brooke, welcome. Here we go. Relax, belly breathe. Follow your breath, follow your prayer, follow your chant. Mystical Jesus, least is greatest, achieve spiritual greatness. A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Okay, I'm kidding around here. It's a reading from the Gospel of Luke in the ninth chapter, 46 to 48. You probably all, or many of you know this. Okay, so it's going to be familiar. The disciples began arguing about who was the most amazing of them. Jesus, seeing, perceiving, and knowing the reasoning and thinking of their hearts, stood a child beside him and said, "Whoever receives this child in my name," capital N on that name, the name, remember that from Genesis? "In my name receives me. Whoever receives me receives the one, the YHWH, the Hovier Vovier, the name receives the one who sent me. Therefore, the least among you is the greatest. The least among you is the greatest." Now, out of the treasure of their hearts, the disciples' lips spoke, and that's true for all of us. The ego-driven self in each one of these disciples fueled their spiritual pride. One prominent American hot yoga teacher, and I guess he was kind of hot besides being a hot yoga teacher. One prominent American hot yoga teacher once said on video, I watched this. He announced to his audience of 100 yoginis, or hundreds of them, in this big, huge hall. On his, he's wearing this almost nothing, and which is fine. I'm totally about, wearing as little as possible. But he, on his microphone, this is what he said: "I'm the most spiritual person you will ever meet." When some such soul says that thing, you can be sure it's not true. Those who speak do not know, and those who know do not speak. Lao Tzu. And here I am talking about it. So do I know? Do I not know? The disciples, they were full of themselves. Jesus saw their hearts attached to the idea of themselves. He could see the story their egos told them about who they were. The walls dissolve when we discover that the walled prison we live in, like the disciples, is made of thoughts and stories we tell ourselves about who we are. That is the source of spiritual pride, the egoic mind. When I was a kid, there was a song, and it went this way. It was, "My dog's better than your dog. My dog's better than yours. My dog's better because my dog was eating some special dog food. My spirituality is better than your spirituality." Speaking from his highest self, Jesus, the I am who I am, the name with a capital N. He's speaking from the name within him. He's always talking whenever he speaks about heaven. He's speaking from his highest self, his higher self, the I am who I am. When he said this, he said to his disciples, he told his disciples that accepting this child who he stood beside him, he took a child and he stood this child beside him. And he said to his disciples, when you accept the child standing beside me, like they were accepting the life force energy, when you accept the life force energy of the child, you accept the life force energy of within Jesus, which is the same as accepting the life force infinite energy of all there is. There is only oneness. To accept the child is to accept the Jesus, is to accept the life force, is to accept the infinite. Accepting the infinite accepts the child, accepts Jesus. It's this circle round and round. Find the infinite inside yourself. Sense it with your own self. See it and perceive it, and you will see it inside yourself and everywhere. You'll see it inside the child. You'll see it in the words of Jesus. You'll see it in the words of T.S. Eliot or Emily Dickinson. This little story in Luke is a Dharma talk. Jesus is just talking off the cuff about oneness. He sees the disciples, the devotees, these people who want the thing he has, talking among themselves, arguing about, I'm the best. And he tells them that the least is the greatest. The one with the least self is the greatest. The one with the most quiet mind. They could feel the life force energy, capital L, capital F, capital E, life force energy in a radiation from Jesus. So they knew, they felt this, they understood this as a real thing to a degree. And they understood to a degree what he was talking about. And we can see evidence of his radiance in the iconic art. And that word, I mean art that is iconic, that is icons. You can see that in paintings in the West. You can see the radiance in the iconic art represented primarily in these Orthodox churches. In any Orthodox church you go into, there's shining gold leaf, real gold leaf applied around him as a halo, as an aura around Jesus. What do you think that is? That's the expression of this inarticulable thing that was him, that radiated out from him. That's what he wants us to have. In his teaching, he tells us, be like me. You can be like me. You are the light of the world. There was an energy flow, a flow of energy, capital F, capital E, meaning the divine energy. Flow. It hung between his words. It hung inside his language. It was woven into what he said and squeezed inside those words. Let those who have ears hear, he would say. Hear with the ear of your heart. No brain, smarts, knowledge, or analysis can ever understand the meaning of his words, but your soul can. Your prana, your chi, your life force energy, your higher consciousness. When you listen with the ear of your heart, your soul can understand. And if you've ever had any kind of mystical experience, spiritually transformative experience, I've talked about this a bazillion times. If you've ever had any one of those sorts of anyone that I've listed in the past, that I don't want to get into today, if you've ever had a mystical experience, a spiritually transformative experience where you experience love as a flow into you, healing, like non-linguistic, not just a sign on the side of the, I see a feather, which is beautiful. You see a feather, you remember your loved one, they might be present for you. That's fabulous. But a deeper experience, like a visitation from the dead, that I always talk about because it's so common, where somebody comes to visit you and you get this inflow, okay, something like that, that changes the course of your life, that your brain can't comprehend. All the study of all the books and all the world sitting at the feet of all the teachers is not going to give you what you want. Only one thing can give you what you want, and that's the thing itself, the thing that is no thing, the divine infinite energy flow. And the way to that is to get out of the way. Your soul can understand the meaning of his words. Your consciousness can grasp and hold onto this place that is above reason, above thinking, where all thought of self ends and only love lives. And if you've ever felt love in any of its selfless forms, you've tasted this. Remember that NDEers don't have brains when we die. Now, some people think we don't have brains now. We're crazy. When NDEers die, we have no brains. Yet we all experience consciousness in places beyond thought, knowledge, language, and understanding. Our souls experience this. Our souls, this spiritual union in a great depth of union, which is often experienced as a temporary end of self and identity, produces humility, which is the opposite of spiritual pride. It just produces this. When you see yourself as you are, there's no room for anything else. Among humans, the most petite ego self, the most petite egoic self, is the most outstanding spiritual self. Head knowledge doesn't make wisdom, heart knowledge does. Surrender yourself, surrender duality, accept oneness. That's how it's achieved, by letting it go. How do we do this? How do we do this? As for me, I'll continue in my practice of learning inner silence of my thoughts in meditative prayer. I'm still on the journey of that. I'm going to continue to move my prana up and down my chakras, enhance my chi inside myself as I deconstruct my own egoic self. I'm going to continue to move my prana to build my halo for myself to live inside a bubble of heaven now, here, which I do, which connects me to the one, which connects me to the child, to Jesus and his devotees, and to you, and to trees, and to bees, and to birds, and to strangers, and to the dead, and to stars, and to everything there is. And you can do this too. The tools of practice work. That's why they get handed down century after century. It's important to study. Head knowledge matters. It gives you a mind to set. But having no self matters much more. The egoic mind continues to exist after you deconstruct it. You live as a witness to your own life, which doesn't just mean the exterior. It means the thoughts of yourself, primarily. So, if this was helpful, let me know in the comments and in the chat. If not, let me know in the comments and the chat. I love feedback. So thanks for spending some time with me please subscribe, especially if you've been checking out Not Church for weeks. And like the video, please. And thanks. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my beloveds, for your financial support, my friends. Everyone who gives any amount makes it possible for me to be here Sundays to answer dozens and dozens of emails during the week, to create other content for meditation, to help you on your journey. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Super chat right here, PayPal, Venmo, Patreon. Namaste, brothers, sisters. Thank you. Namaste for that. Thank you. If you want to talk to me, I'm available. You can visit me at peterpanagore.love and you can sign up for a session. And all those links are at peterpanagore.love. And I'm going to put aside my little script. Oh, there's the bell. I'm going to put aside my iPad over here and take a look at the chat and see what's going on over there. Thanks for being here this morning. Let's see. Infinite love and gratitude from Lockport, Illinois. Hey, Bob. Thank you. Humble as Yeshua, another name for Jesus. Jesus wasn't his real name. That's a translation. Yeshua is to receive the Father's kingdom. One must be humble as a child. So Robert's talking in the patriarchal language in which the Gospels were written, and he's saying that humble as Jesus is to receive the source, the realm of the source, the divine kingdom, the divine queendom. Sorry, drippy nose. Ugh, that's disgusting, isn't it? Pardon me. There we go. That's much better. A little more sanitary there. Hey, anyway, receive the divine as a child. Be innocent as a child inside yourself. Hey, Tim, this talk is giving you deja vu. Oh, I love deja vu. I love deja vu. That must be one of those sort of probabilities in your life that came to an actuality. Kristen, thank you, Kristen. Thank you, PL, for thanking me. Thanks, Ellen. Yes, every time this connects me and enlightens me, says Robert. Thank you with all my heart. And thank you, Robert, for all your comments, too. Maggie, you always manage to reignite the heavenly hug I received from Gwen on the news of her tragic death in Chicago. What? And always I'm left with huge joyous grin on my face. I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm really glad for your joy, too. Your talks are always helpful. Thanks, Quiet Energy. The charge today was really nice. Great. Thanks, Kristen. Hey, Bloom P. Hey, Peter. I've watched your NDE testimony on the Other Side NDE channel. Fascinating story. And uh, pacing this experience lead you on this and something APAZING and fascinating story. This experience led you on this spiritual journey. It totally did. It's still leading me on it. I am not done with my spiritual journey. I am still continuing on my path. This is not a static thing. There is no static here in this world of change. There's only change here. Either, in business, they say either grow or die. Pretty bleak, but true in business. Spirituality is not so much different. Either grow in your spirituality or sort of stagnate. So I know that I know tiny, tiny bit, teeny, tiny, tiny bit. In my heart, I know a teeny, teeny, tiny bit. And in my head, I know a teeny, teeny, tinier bit. But I'm always after in pursuit of the thing itself, that no thingness. And I'm always growing and changing. I expect to do so till the day I die. And here's the weird thing. If I had my choice, if I have my choice, and maybe I'll change my mind, but I'd like to stay on the other side and keep stripping and keep changing over there, layer after layer after layer as I aim toward the light itself. People ask me, what's the purpose of life? To me, it's the pursuit of the light, either in this life or the next. Both. Let's see. Brother Ed. Hey, Brother Ed out there in Oklahoma. Namaste, y'all. Greetings from Texahoma. Peter, your opening attunement chants continue to resonate in your heart and mind. Thank you. In my heart and mind, he says. I hope so. That's the goal there. I feel expansion and deeper breath when I listen to you, Peter. Oh, thank you, Ellen, and welcome back from your travels. Thank you again. Brooke, my friend, thank you for acknowledging the soul star chakra golden aura depicted on the ascended masters, reflecting their life force energy. Yes, Jesus is not the only one. He's not the only one with that aura around him in art. Shh, I don't want the Christians to find out. He's not the only one. There's many of us, you included. If you feel the divine radiance, that's your aura. That's your halo. It's your halo. These halos, they're just not on the outside. They start on the inside. The halo is the same as the flame as of the heart, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you die, when I died and had no more body, I was ginormous. So are you. One must seek for your entire lifetime or risk your soul. I don't know about my risking my soul or not. I saw the divine self was my soul at its core. Nothing is lost. And that's what I saw. Ultimately, infinitely. Between now and then, well, that's a whole long journey, here and over there. I'd love to hear any further integration of your experiences in Salt Lake City, says Sean. Oh, well, I can talk a little bit about that. Trust fall. Yeah, it's like a trust fall. It is. This is like a trust fall. Um, Tim, hey, don't light a lamp and place it under the bed or under a basket either. Besides, you light a candle, you put it under the bed, the whole thing gets us on fire. I mean, that's kind of crazy to do that. I did that most of my life. I did that. So my integration. So what happened to me in Salt Lake City? You might have to go back a couple of videos to see the expanse of it. I don't want to detail the whole thing, but I had a spiritually transformative experience on Sunday morning, along with a whole bunch of other people who were there at the International Association for Near Death Studies morning meditation with our friend, and I include all the people who know her, Trisha Barker, who led the meditation, and there were overlapping spiritual experiences in the physical realm. And my interior changed. I was transported outside of myself. I became, well, it's a long story. Yeah, so what's going on? What's the result so far? It's still here. It hasn't gone away. I'm still feeling my way out into this expanse. I feel like my the extension of myself. So when I practice my chi, I can stretch my chi. I can push it outside myself. Feel like I live in. I have felt like I lived inside over my lifetime. Uh, First here and then there, and so like this, my self seems to get bigger, and myself right now is pretty huge here in this world. I feel more how do I feel like I have a bigger funnel. I feel like in the world I have a bigger funnel and more lights coming. I perceive more light inside the world. I perceive more joy. I have more joy. I never had joy. I had joy on the other side, but compared to here, it's like nothing. But now I got more. It's still there. I'm practicing my interior world now. I'm shooting my up to my eighth and ninth chakras. I'll talk a little bit about this in my physical yoga practice. My my physical yoga practice. I practice chakra yoga on the inside, and I've been using my cupped hands. I've talked a lot about the cupped hands and like the mulas, the chakras. You got like I don't know 114 chakras in your body, some number like that. I don't have the number memorized. But you got a pair on the end of your hands, and I've been using those things, driving up to my crown, driving up to number 8, driving up to number 9, right? For years, I've been doing that. Now this thing seems open to me. Same, it opened up during that Kundalini awakening I had so many decades ago. And now there's like this column of fire. And now as I'm practicing this column of fire, I'm driving my prana up above myself and down below myself. There's chakras below us in the depth of the roots. And some people talk about it being the beneath your first chakra, your root chakra, there, right there. Uh, They're your fun bits behind your fun bits in front. Anyway, so way down inside there, way below us in the ground. If you're standing, there's at least one other chakra, but there's many, many more. And um, I've been driving this column in my meditation life. So that's where I'm at. Thanks for asking about that. I don't know what to say about that more than that. Watching from France. Bonjour in France. I am a dear friend of mine just went back to France. To the south of France, near the Pyrenees. Is his name Bloom P? Um, uh, is this you, my friend, or is this someone else? And welcome. If it's somebody else, very much welcome. But my buddy just left, subscribed. I saw him the other day. He's in the United States for like 3 days for a passport issue. He's like, I'm in town. So I went and I saw him, and he flew out the next day and said he subscribed. And so I'm not sure. Anyway, so you don't have to confess if you don't want to, but bonjour. Um, correction, for your life after enlightenment, do not fade in your quest for Father's kingdom. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. Mo, Peter, you find more inner joy and happiness if you take forgiveness practice deeply, respectfully speaking. Yeah, I know that what you're saying is true. I lived the journey that I lived, and now I've been graced with a joy that I didn't earn. And it just became present like all the rest of all the gifts that ever came from my NDE. I practice the oneness of being and the pursuit of the oneness and let all the chips fall where they may. And this chip landed pretty well. So yes, if you want to more joy in your life, practice more gratitude. I have practiced gratitude, uh, but I thank you very much. I thank you, and I hope people do. I call that column of light my blade of truth and also call it integrity. I feel the same thing, the divine connection that's always present if we're open to it. You betcha, Ellen. Exactly. This column of fire. All right, my friends, we've been on the air for 33 minutes and 12 seconds. Thanks for being here. Thanks for liking the video. Tell your friends. Um, share this when you can. Thanks for your support. Namaste and peace. At the top of the next hour, Mystic Tea Salon, our mystical conversation, humility, kindness, and compassion are our rules. Those are the three items that arise from union experience. So come and join us. The link is below in the description. Thanks for liking, up, subscribing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for being here. Peace and love, everybody. Namaste. Peace and love. See you soon. Top of the hour.